must mean it's 0 dark 100 hours, midnight. Correct. Okay. Hello, my friends, ladies and gents, fellow YouTubians, my YouTubian brethren. My name is Jason Mowad, and what I have here is I'm going to impart some wisdom to you. I'm going to read a little bit from Musashi's Book of Five Rings. For those of you who don't know who Miyamoto Musashi is, I'll try to give you quick cliff notes on it. But for those of you who do, I recommend, if you don't have this translation, specific one by Hanshi Stephen Kaufman, 10th Dan, by Tuttle Publishing. This is a translation specifically for martial artists, warriors, fighters, specifically, not for business, not for growing fucking corn, for all the million other translations you can adapt it to. And it's also great too, because it's like a pickup book and you can go and pick and get a little gem. So that's what my plan is here. I'm going to just read the introduction, because it's Musashi himself. This is somewhere in the 1600s, I think, or 15, feudal Japan, you know that. Anyway, he was a wandering samurai, a rogue one. He had no master. He he wasn't a part of any group or clan or anything. He just wandered by himself. And he's the official sword saint of Japan. You can check that out. It's true. They made him the sword saint of Japan. He developed his own way. He was quite a unique character. But his strategy in the different books is unparalleled, and I've been reading in and out of this book since I was 20. The same translation, but you know, this is a newer one. I had two of these books, you know, all highlighted. So instead of me hacking up the intro any further, I'm gonna just get right to it and read it, because he gives it to you. Here we go. Introduction. My name is Miyamoto Musashi. I have killed over 60 men in fights and duels. When I was 60 years of age, I looked back upon my life and in a flash of wisdom realized that all my victories were based on either great luck, an innate ability, or perhaps the fact that the methods of other schools were inadequate. When I came to terms with my own skills and abilities, the realities of what I had accomplished held me to a higher principle that left me no choice but to depart from the commerce of the world, seek isolation, and tear my soul apart so that I could examine what I already seemed to know instinctively. Sorry. I practiced and meditated constantly until I came to understand the workings of the spirit. I love it, but he calls it too. I call it the same thing. I adopted it from him. The spirit of the thing itself. I am considered to be the greatest swordsman Japan has ever had. It was during my fights and duels that I developed my own style of two-sword fighting. Although I was committed to my sword, I was also dedicated to learning painting, sculpture, and poetry. I instinctively felt it necessary to understand the arts and be accomplished in them. But my prime focus was on swordsmanship. I was not a particularly religious person, although I know of Buddhism, Shintoism, and Confucianism, and am aware of their tenets. What will be changed in my teachings with the passing of time cannot be known. There are, however, specific warrior attitudes that make good sense for the martialist. These warrior attitudes are succinct and definitive. It may seem that I am repeating the same thing over and over, While it is true that I am doing this, it is only to enforce my teachings upon you. My constant repetition, you will soon come to understand my way of strategy. I will not leave it to you to try to quickly grasp my ideas in passing. The Book of Five Rings is divided into 5 sections called Earth, Water, Fire, Wind, and Nothingness. Earth lays the groundwork for the study of the whole book. Water explains attitudes of warriorness through an understanding of strategy. Fire teaches fighting with the principles of earth and water. The Book of the Wind describes the differences between my school style and the styles of other schools. The Book of Nothingness describes the way of nature as the true mode of being. I have not followed the paths of other men. I have lived without the benefit of a teacher and by my own devices. I became the master of myself and thereby master of the sword and the brush, never differentiating between any of these arts. I think that's so fucking cool. It should be understood that without the assistance of a teacher, many roads become open to a practitioner. How fucking true that is. Some on the correct path and some on the incorrect path. It is not for everyone to be without guidance. Only a few, and they are exceptional, can make a journey to wisdom without a teacher. You must have extraordinary passion, patience, and self-discipline to make a journey alone. The goals must be understood, definitive, and no diversion can be acknowledged or permitted if you are to attain enlightenment within the sphere of a chosen art. This is a very difficult road to travel, and not many are made for it. It is frustrating, confusing, very lonely, certainly frightening, and it will sometimes make you think you do not have much sanity left to deal with the everyday surroundings of your world. Also, there is no guarantee that you will attain perfection. It must all come from inside and without any preconceived notions on your part. And so we begin. All right, 7 minutes to read all that. Oh, how I'm into this now, and would love to read the entire fucking book in one video. Well, I know I can't because there's not enough data, there's not enough memory, there's not enough space. I know that on this device. So I'm going to keep it short. Perhaps I'll try to do it in order, or maybe I'm going to read either a piece from the Book of Earth, the Book of Water, Wind, Water, Fire, you know, a piece from each book, or I'm just going to start on Earth. That's what I'm going to do. You know what? I'm not going to skip around. I'm going to actually try to get this done. Maybe in like 3 20-minute things I can get it done. But first, I'll see how much interest this gets. If you guys like it and stuff, are interested, I get enough views and stuff, watch time for it, then I'll continue it. All right, so I'm going to start here with the, I'm getting very tired too, so I'm going to start from being like I have been. All right, here we go. The Book of Earth by Miyamoto Musashi. No man is invincible, and therefore no man can fully understand that which would make him invincible. Even with the complete and thorough study, there is always the possibility of being defeated, and although one may be expert in a particular form, mastery is something a man never stops seeking to attain. It is doubtful that anyone truly understands the real way of strategy, much less truly lives it. I read so fast, like walk, everything I do, got to slow down. Yet military leaders must have some understanding of strategy, and they must pass it on to their warriors, regardless of the limitations of their own understanding. There is no one way to salvation. Whatever the manner in which a man may proceed, all forms and variations are governed by the eternal intelligence of the universe. that enables a man to approach perfection. It may be in the arts of music and painting, or it may be in commerce, law, or medicine. It may be in the study of war or the study of peace. Each is as important as any other. Spiritual enlightenment through religious meditation such as Zen or in any other way is as viable and functional as any way. Certainly in the way of the sword or the fist, a person should study as they see fit. A warrior should have an understanding of the peaceful arts as well as the killing arts. This is a twofold way. If a man chooses a certain way and seems to have no particular talent for this way, he can still become a master if he so chooses. By keeping at a particular form of study, a man can attain perfection, either in this life or the next. If the next life is believed in, parentheses. The warrior, however, understands that the end result of any study is a kind of death, sublime, not necessarily physical. Before the attainment of perfection, many different types of people have been known to die for either the right reasons or the wrong reasons. The only shame in dying incorrectly is to die a stupid and meaningless death. To die as a warrior means to have crossed swords and either won or lost without any consideration for winning or losing. There is just not enough time, and generally there is not enough strength in the resolve of any man to do otherwise. On my highlighted parts. In all accomplishments of war, the warrior understands that the only real measure of his ability lies in being able to beat men in fights, regardless of their nature. Failure in any other area is not to be construed as a true test of a warrior's mettle. The true virtue of strategy is in allowing us to overcome all odds in daily life and in helping us attain the closest state we can to being one with the supreme power before going into battle. The development of warrior consciousness is an ongoing thing. Each new experience continually leads to new challenges. The quote-unquote way cannot be learned through frivolous contests in which the outcome is for the name of a school or a large trophy. It can only be realized where physical death is a reality. Okay, here we go. Last one. All right, and this is how each book is done in these little like mini chapters. Like this, I'm about to read the first one, The Way of Strategy. It's a page and a half. Some of them are only a paragraph, so they mix. Okay, so here we go. Now, The Way of Strategy out of the Book of Earth. The way is a specific and determinedly deliberate methodology. The ancient masters must be studied constantly without respite, even when the practitioner thinks he has grasped the knowledge. True, true, true. It is important to realize that technique is not the end of an art. Realize that technique is not the end of an art. Those good in technique, regardless of the art they pursue, are not necessarily able to teach the true meaning of an art. Beginning students who do not know this and who think that they are being brought to the threshold of understanding are not to blame so much as those who teach without understanding the inner and the outer worlds of the art of which they profess to be masters. It is useless for people who look good in play competition to think in terms of being masters. They appear to understand and as a result permit their own self-importance to convince them that they are bearers of the truth. Only through a constant search from within, based on one's own lifestyle, can the truth be known. It is absolutely a personal thing. Commercialism does nothing to enhance the reality of truth, although it can lead one to the start of the path. A man cannot understand the perfection and imperfections of his chosen art if he cannot see the value in other arts. Following rules only permits development up to a point in technique. To advance further, the student and artist must learn and seek other knowledge. It makes sense to study other arts as well as those of strategy. Who has not learned something more about themselves by watching the activities of others? To learn the sword, study the guitar. To learn the fist, study commerce. To only study the sword will make you narrow-minded and will keep you from growing outward. Everything is for sale, including men's souls. A man cannot understand the art he is studying if he only looks for the end result without taking the time to delve deeply into the reasoning of the study. There is no purpose in trying to determine whether one is better than another. If anything is anything, then everything is everything. Great. Do not confuse profit with profitability. To sell yourself based on the design of your school symbol is unfair to students and is, moreover, moronic because it fools the unknowing into thinking that skill is based on superficiality. Besides, it is bad karma and will come back to haunt you. You cannot fool with the spirit of the thing itself. That's it. You cannot fool the spirit of the thing itself. It is far greater wisdom than man can ever understand. In our society, there are 4 classes of people. Each fulfills appropriate functions, and each is able to attain levels of perfection, according to its own means. The specific ranks of the classes, in order of their importance to the society, are 1. The samurai, number 1. Okay, he was a samurai. Number 2, the farmers. Number 3, the artisans. And finally, 4, the merchants. Each is respected and disrespected equally by the other classes. The samurai are warriors and live a higher ideal. The study of their weapons is their prime motivation. Farmers are next because they provide the food needed for the masses. Artisans are the craftsmen and makers of weapons, other products. Merchants are a ridiculed class because they produce nothing except profit from the work of others. Yet it must be understood that each has a viable and functional part within the structure of the society. And that even though, for example, the warrior class may despise the merchant class, we are all too aware of the need for them to maintain the economy. Money must be made to pay the army. All right, we're going to stop there. Children, okay. I'll stop here. 0, 18 hours, or 0, 1, 8 hours. 3, 27. All right, so I'm going to the next video, and I'll do them, tomorrow and the next day, because I like rereading this. This is great, and it's cool sharing it. So here's your little teaser for the next video. Comparing the way of the craftsman to the strategy of a warrior. And I'm not reading any further, so I'll read the whole thing. I'm taking my Richard Marcinko signed bookmark, put it right down, Book of 5 Rings. How fitting is that? All right. So I just read altogether 1, 2, 3, 4. Fucking cool, right? It's great. I'm committed to doing the whole thing. I'll probably finish it all tomorrow in 1 or 2 tapes. Whether or not I get a lot of views or not tonight from this. I don't know why I said that, doesn't matter. And I really enjoyed rereading it. Something about reading it to somebody or to like an open mic or a group of people. And this, even though it's to the world, it's nobody because there's nobody here, but also there's the invisible connection of the internet that goes out, and somebody could be watching this in some little island off of Australia or something, or some mountaintop in Japan, or you know what I'm saying. And that keeps it real, and it keeps it legit for me, and it keeps it live with energy. And with that, feeling pretty good spirits. I never told the thing about my black shirt. I finished telling that, the broken badge. So my concept was, it's mainly an outdoor art. You know, I prefer to train people outside in their shoes on grass or regular, you know, footing that we do walk in everyday life, and regular clothes where, you know, you can get out of your car, walk into the park, meet me, do the lesson, go back into your car, and you can go to the mall. Nothing's changed, you know, but you have the training shirt. I have two colors, black and gray. Gray is for everyone who has not earned a black shirt, and a black shirt was my equivalent of a black belt. And since I started it, only one guy legitimately earned one. Kevin, and he earned it. He did 2 privates a week for almost 18 months with me, all 4 seasons out, cold and everything. So he's got a black shirt out there. So anyway, and I was ending that before because I was going to pull out my new logos that I'm working on. You know, and I'm just getting tired, really getting tired now. So this is going to be one of them. It's going to be one of the shirts in the back. It's going to be the back of one of them. It's not finished yet. This one's more finished. And then this is the new overall, pretty much, logo, because I got the Bowie guy in there. Actually, this might just be for, and I'm also doing that separate, the curriculum for American Bowie knife fighting. That's a whole separate art in itself. I'm not mixing that with the combatives, and I'm certainly not teaching it for free anymore in the combatives. That's going to be charged separately, separate curriculum, but it'll be free on YouTube. So these are all the things I teach myself, and I just want to show you one of my dragons, and my newest creation, this guy here. I really like the way this is coming out. All right, tired of hearing the sound of my voice. Tired of being down here. I'm gonna go up to my room and do that thing, you know. Miss my girlfriend, but she'll be coming home on Sunday, so that's cool. Musashi, Book of 5 Rings.